Alright, step beginning 25. We are going to do kneeling squats on a chair. So let me quickly demonstrate exactly what that looks like so that you can make sure you grab the right kind of chair and or knee padding should you need it. And then of course, as usual, we'll talk through what the actual setup is and the variations and all the benefits. Alright, so notice I'm facing the back of the chair and don't mind that it's swiveling, okay? I'm trying to keep that from moving too much. But anyway, here is my setup, and the kneeling squat gets its name because we're of course on the knees, but we're going to take that top of that squat and then come up, okay? So this is the move, and so this is why I want you to go ahead and get a chair with the backing and get the padding on the knees if you need it. All right, so let's break down what's going on. You're going to face the back of the chair, and we're going to get our knees right in front of the back edge, but not touching the back edge, all right? So shimmy up to that so that you're fairly close. The main point being, we're going to want to have our shins supported, but our ankles hanging off, all right? So make sure you have that part of the setup. Now, the position or the distance of your thighs or knees from each other is just going to be hip width, okay? Of course, you're limited on the width of the chair seat on how wide those knees are gonna go, but just keep it hip width, okay? Meaning if you're seeing from the back, we have hip, knee, and then our ankles are going to be in line with the hip, and our toes are just gonna go hang towards the floor, all right? So that would be our basic setup position. Now, most important thing after that is our alignment and our hip position. So this exercise is going to emphasize a person's hip extension capability, which is going to work the glutes, and then it's going to work the quads. And this is considered, the kneeling squat in general is considered a regression of a squat. However, it doesn't matter if you're able to do a squat regularly or a kneeling squat, even loaded, all of that. It's always good to explore all of the variations. And if nothing else, this just gives us a quick, accessible way to throw the movement in without having to get all the way on the floor. For people who are not doing a full squat yet, this is going to work on the top level with a huge bonus, and then you also have the ability to hold on to something for a counterbalance as well as actual assist should your leg muscles not be able to carry you yet, okay? All right, so our posture in the setup is extremely important. We're gonna have our chin slightly tucked. The head is going to be straight towards the ceiling while we keep a neutral alignment of the spine, all right? So neutral, of course, just means we're not arching in either direction, all right? So keep that spine neutral throughout the entire exercise. The angle of the spine in relation to the floor will shift. I'll say this probably in every video. Now, the hip extension part is the most important. So if you take the flat of your hand and just take it from the top of the pelvis, it should feel like a nice straight edge, straight down the thighs, okay? And in order to get that, you need to have your glutes on, okay? So normally when we do a regular squat or a deadlift and we come up, normally that's where people squeeze and hang on, get that into that full hip extension or even beyond that with a thrust, which is not necessary. But the benefit of doing the kneeling squat is we're basically starting in that important in position, all right? So you'll go down, so notice I have a slight angle, but I'm still neutral. So you shift back, sit onto your calves, use your quad muscles to come up, hold on to here, or press down into it if you need to, then squeeze through the glutes. So here's what we don't want. We don't want to be sticking the bum out and leaning forward and then bringing it down, okay? We want to get the the calves, we want to be resting the back of our thighs right onto the calves. So it's more like we're going to shift everything back, load the quads already. As we kneel down, get right down on that quad, okay? If you feel like you can't, that's okay. As long as you feel the calves touching, then go ahead and hold on to the back. Then, okay, you're going to use your quad muscles to come up, squeeze into full hip extension. All right, so here are the two variations. The variations have to do with our ankle placement, either outside of our knees or the inside of our knees. So here's how you would do that. You would keep your knee in the exact same position. You would take your shins off slightly and move the ankle to the outside, okay, to the outside of your knee line. The other one is same thing. You take the knees in place, shift and lift the shins off, and bring the ankles together on the inside of your knee line. Now, if you try it in either of those ankle positions, what you'll find is that there's a different part of the quads that get engaged more strongly, okay? And you may like it, you may need it, okay? You may find it easier, you may find it harder, okay? There's always an element of exploration in the things that we do, as long as you're not, you know, whacking yourself into an injury by not following the most important cues, okay? All right, so that's really about it. If you could crank out 25 of those, that would be great for your quads, great for, you know, a nice little form check on squats in general. Also, if you want to do it, if you're really working on that squat or working on any imbalances, do keep a feel for, all right? So if I can't watch someone, then someone has to, you know, take a feel for, okay? That's what I mean. That when you're coming, okay, then when you're coming down into that squat, so your tailbone here is would be considered at your midline, right? So you want your sit as well as the raise to be even. So if you're coming down and you feel like you're shifting, you're loading one leg more, or you're visibly tweaking, twisting, something like that, okay? That's something that we're going to have to address, right? So keep a feel for that, all right? Okie dokie, I think that is about it for sure. Give me 25.